The greatest doctrine of liberty is the California Penal Code. It really is a beautiful book. Because right in the beginning of the book it says that no act is criminal or punishable except as prescribed in this code. Can't be any prior restraint. That's what the liberty means, until they do something. I really believe that the only thing that's immoral, is that which is illegal. We've seen a lot of overlap, with quasi-religious people and the law. It comes out a lot with the demonstrations. Most people I've talked to actually are demonstrating against the police department, against policemen. They're demonstrating. I think the reason that they're demonstrating against policemen is that they kind of think that the authority and the people who have the authority vested in them are the same. And that comes from a screwed up religious background. And I think the way that happened was a lot of the missionaries who sort of gave the religious instruction to the savages never really were definite with the people about that they weren't God and they were just instructors just like they were, just people. And the savages would go, are you God? They go, well, I'm not God, but it's, and so by omission, the savage might assume that he was God, and that he was not just, he had the authority vested in him, rather than someone who is the authority. And the people that can't, make that definition of the people who have the authority vested in them and the authority really creates a big hang-up. Because I think the authority comes from the people, us, and how it happened. Probably when we first started the tribe, we needed some kind of rule. And the guy said, let's make some real simple rules. What we'll do is we'll divide up this living area. And we'll sleep in area A, we'll eat in area B, we'll throw a crap in area C. That's simple, okay. All agreed, eat, sleep, and crap. All right, good. Hands have it. And they all went to sleep, and a guy woke up and he got a face full of crap. Pow! And he went, what kind of rule? Eat, sleep, and crap, and I'm sleeping, I got a face full of crap. I said, oh, well, it's maybe we have to have something to enforce the rule. We have a law enforcement. That's it, law enforcement, good. We'll hire somebody to enforce the rule, have a penalty. That's what it is. If anybody throws any crap on us while we're eating or sleeping, they gotta live in a crap house. Because if we prescribe it in front, tell them where it's at, then, yeah, that's cool, okay. Do we agree on it? Okay, well, wait a minute. What if it's friends of... Oh, you shut up. Friend schmuck. That's a rule. It has nothing... That'll be the turn on the fact. That'll be the doctrine of reasonable doubt. If the law is broken, everybody pays the dues. Everybody who throws any crap on us while we're sleeping or eating is indecent. And they get thrown in the crap house. That'll be the rule. All right, okay, we all agree. But we got to get somebody to throw them in the crap house. I can't do it because I do business with these assholes. So what I'll do, we'll get some guy to do it, that's all. What the hell? Put an ad in the post office, say I wanted somebody to enforce the law. Our law, good. Okay, listen, here's what the job is. We're trying to get some sleep, see? And there's a lot of people throwing crap on us. Now, we figured out the best way to stop it is throw them in the crap house. And we need somebody to do it. Now, we find out that they won't go there by themselves. So here's a stick and a gun and throw them right in the crap house. But I tell you what, don't do it in front of me, see? This may sound like I'm a hypocrite, but I got to do business with these assholes, see? And so I'll make you the bad guy. See, you just throw them right in the shit house, but wait till I'm away, see? In fact, I'll go in the back room, see, and and you'll hear me say a lot of times that you take a certain kind of mentality to do that work, and all that bullshit, but you just make sure you do it, Or your ass will get kicked and thrown in the crap house. Because I got to make, somebody the bad guy, and so that's where it's at. The people really don't realize that the policeman is the infantryman, and he's the blue coat. It's amazing how that people can demonstrate against him or the National Guard. Because anytime we get a riot, because once we agree on the rule, it's like some cat saying, okay, we all agreed on the rule, and the guy woke up and he got a face full of crap, and he looks and he's all alone, and he goes, what's the deal here? We had a rule, and they tell him it's a religious holiday. And the guy goes, bullshit, that's no kind of rule, then. I'll separate the church and the state right now. The Federalist rule will be here, and that'll be constant, And then even if 9 million people find things distasteful, they can demonstrate their ass off, but they still can't throw any garbage on me until they do it the right way, until they repeal it. Bullshit on the majority. The one person, no Ku Klux Klan core, anybody can bully me. I can just have it the way I want. So what happens, any kind of demonstration or any riot, you got all the people wailing their ass over sticks and stones, then you got a cop there with a short sleeve shirt on and a stick in his hand. And the people are yelling Gestapo at him. Gestapo, you schmuck, I'm the mailman. Where does that figure? The burden shifts to the wrong place all the time. What happens many times is, I think actually what the people, what they want is to beat the devil. They really believe that there's a good and a bad. I think that's the difference between the religion and the Federalist law. Is that in the Federalist system with the Constitution doesn't recognize any indecent people. In other words, there's no decent section of town, indecent section. It's just anybody throws any crap on us, they're indecent, that's all. The Supreme Court aren't confused at all. The Supreme Court, the reason the Supreme Court, a lot of people think that they're liberal, they're loosening up. They're not loosening up any area. The Supreme Court is concerned with one thing, the First Amendment. And here's their concern. Not with anybody saying shit. That has nothing to do with the First Amendment. They're concerned with the information, that there's no bar to the communication system. And all the First Amendment is freedom of speech, is the accent is not on the speech, but the right to say it. And the freedom of the press is the right to read it or hear it. So they know what will happen if anybody decides that this certain kind of information shouldn't get through, and they restrict it, you've got a weak country. Because a country can only be strong when they know about the bad. Because a knowledge of syphilis is not an instruction to get it. If you restrict the country only to knowing about all the nice things about themselves, well, that's what happened to Hitler. He was just bullshitted by all his friends, And he probably kept saying, don't bullshit me. I mean, oh, you're doing great. Everybody loves this, that's where it's at. The fact that the communication system, the First Amendment, was abridged a lot in the South. The people are very primitive there. They're very religious people. They believe in trial by ordeal, that if you're really a good man, you can get rid of syphilis by sweating and taking good shit and running around. You don't need pills and all that poison, This brings about the Ku Klux Klan and a guy that I really feel sorry for, the Shelton, the wizard now. I feel sorry for a lot of Ku Klux Klan members, and the reason is valid. In other words, when a guy joined the Ku Klux Klan, I'm sure that he didn't say, I solemnly swear that I'll lynch people and I'll murder. No. It was the same scene as the communist writers. That witch hunt. There were some writers, that probably knew nothing about communism, and in order to get a gig, like people join the Shriners or play golf to meet different people, had some association with this organization. This is way, way back. And then they had the House Un-American Activities Committee. They grabbed everybody up, all these writers, and they said, the fact that the Communist Party, the communists, overthrow the government, the fact that these people had anything to do with it one time in their life, to even talk to some cat that just blew it for them. Well, the same thing with the Ku Klux Klan. The fact that one Ku Klux Klan member lynched somebody sometime, some poor asshole now gets schlepped up before the House Un-American Activities Committee, who doesn't know about anything. All he wanted to do is sell some used car to a guy in Tennessee. And, you ever remember the Klan? And the fact that this cat didn't graduate high school really puts him uptight. The wizard now, Because it's really weird, if you're ever on the stand, you just drag in front of it, and were you ever, and he doesn't understand the North, this cat, at all. The last time he did any signing or admitting anything, the carpetbaggers really screwed him out of everything. So he's just, Shelton, he doesn't want to admit that he's an American citizen even. You get decline. The South, we pissed away $1 million in Radio Free Europe and never gave them a nickel, Yeah, just, as far as they've had a lot of misreading with obscenity. I don't know what, it's really weird with that. The meaning they gave obscenity came from about 5 different cases where the First Amendment question was raised, and it became what they call a constitutional fact. So it started out with obscene means, and then the first parenthetical statement. Because that's the way the law is. The law wants to be that comprehensive, like paper, persons, houses, photographs, like cover it all. Obscene means, to the average person, meaning the person with the normal average sex instincts. How that came about, there was Ulysses tried to come in the country in about 1933, a book called Ulysses. And the customs and tariff people said, no, the book is obscene. So through injunctive proceedings, he tried to knock it off. And the judge at that time, this Judge Woolsey, said, I don't think I'm going to apply the Hicklin rule anymore. What the Hicklin rule said was how you judge the work is by the most corruptible mind in the community, the guy who gets horniest quickest. In substance, that's what he was saying. The guy who gets horny smelling roses, So he said, I think that the test should be to the man with the normal average sex instincts, the average man in the community. So that was the first parenthetical statement. Obscene means the average person. Then the second parenthetical statement was applying contemporary community standards. In the instruction to the judicial branch, don't apply mid-Victorian standards, recognizing the fact that maybe a judge 70 years old doesn't get out much, doesn't get much, and he would be then, applying. So to the average person to his own age, that was the balance. That the predominant appeal, what the thing is all about, predominant on its face, you can just recognize it, appeals to prurient interest. Now the prurient interest, like the steel interest, it's not something that the thing has. In other words, the thing has no prurient interest. The law recognizes that we all have a prurient interest. And if something is dedicated to entrap you, to incite you, then it was verboten. The thing that interests me is that the objection to pornography is that the people, all the people, have a normal, average, a healthy interest in sex. All of a sudden comes along the pornographer who has a piece of material, some matter, that's really dedicated to incite you, to entrap you. In other words, something that you wouldn't be thinking about. You're happily married and you're cooking along, and some schmuck comes along with something to bait you, something to make you fight the devil. That's what the objection is. Now, when I hear about faggots getting busted in toilets, and I say, how'd you get arrested in the toilet? I accosted a peace officer. Well, that's, no concept of reality there. How'd you have to do it? Well, I didn't know he was a peace officer. What do you mean? He wasn't wearing a costume, was he? He wasn't wearing a gown. Because I'm sure what a low-cut gown to a faggot would be a pair of tight Levi's. I mean, if he was wearing a pair of tight Levi's and leaning up against the urinal in a pensive manner like this, well, then the administrator should get his ass kicked. Because what he's doing, he's appealing to the prurient interest of that faggot, who wouldn't be thinking about that normally. Yeah, that's why any kind of incitement is just, it's just bullshit. You can't do that. You can't play God. You can't entrap the people that way. I've seen that. Well, how I got a hip to, a lot of the law, and that division of it is that, well, I've been in litigation for about 5 years. So what happens, well, there's 2 ways that happen. I'm doing my act on stage. Right? I'm working, doing good. Little do I know, the next morning, a peace officer is doing my act in front of the grand jury. Now, the peace officer is trained to recognize clear and present danger, not play make-believe. But he does my act, right? Here he is, Lenny Bruce, in substance. Grand jury watches the act. They go, that stinks. I get busted on his act. It's exactly what happens. Because of a misreading of the law, because a very critical phrase, that the work must be considered as a whole, not an isolated excerpt. When that one guy does the act, what happens is that the complaint creates the corpus delicti, just where it's at. Now, the irony of it, I have to go to court and defend him. That's what really gets insane, you know. Now, in New York, like about maybe 6 weeks before, peace officer gets the gig and says, okay, you're going to do Lenny Bruce's act in 6 weeks, the criminal courts, New York Special Sessions, Part 2B. So the cop goes, I'm not a comedian, and never mind that crap, you're going to do the act, that's all. Well, do I get any instruction or drama class? No, here's a paper and pencil, go steal his act. All right, so there's a cop, he's in the audience, right? He's writing down, and shit, what do you say? Missed 20 words, right? Bullshit and bullshit, right? And now he's going to do the act. Now, the judge, 65, 70 years old, never heard of Lenny Bruce. Now he's going to hear Lenny Bruce the first time. Sway the peace officer in? Okay. Well, I don't have the whole act, Your Honor, but I made these notes. The judge. Through the doctrine of revived recollection, you look at your notes, refresh your memory, okay. Shit, Catholic, schmuck, shit, schmuck and stick in your schmuck, and Catholic, and asshole, Lyndon Johnson, and schmuck and shit. Is that all of it? No, although he said shit a lot more times than... I think that marijuana will be legal probably about 5 years because most of the law students I know smoke marijuana. And they'll become, senators who will, have legislation to legalize it, and that's where it'll be at. Yeah. Probably have to investigate the. See, since it's a manual operation, they roll it in cigarette papers. In other words, it doesn't come already rolled. The next investigation will no doubt be to zigzag cigarette papers, Here's a company, or Rizla. Mr. Zigzag, you've been making a fortune, you people, for a lot of years, and Bugler went out of business. How do you account for that? There's no tobacco, and there's just the cigarette papers are wailing on. I don't know, they're rolling marijuana in those cigarette papers. Oh, shit, that's right, a lot of it. They're just rolling it and smoking it, and I always think about that, about little neighborhood grocery stores, that for years have been existing just on zigzag papers. They don't know that, They can't even figure it out. You have big orders, some dozen apples and blah, 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 and soap powder and this and that and some zigzag papers. And I think, up in San Francisco, they got the, I always figure that afterwards, that the Finocchio bus and the Gray Line tours meets the Bimbo bus, and they all ball each other, and that's that's the punishment. They turn the two buses loose on each other, and the Gray Line tours are very dangerous. That's expecting some midgets here. Midgets aren't really nice people, though. I try to be friendly to them, and they're nasty. If you try to pick them up, they hate it. There are no Jewish midgets. I don't know why, it's just, I wonder what midgets are. It's, pygmies, they're not midgets, really midgets, are they? You have to have brown hair to be a midget. I don't know if there are any pygmies. That was just something in National Geographic over here. They're like salt. I don't know. I was asking, what if some colored people would get offended if you ask them if they have any relations that are pygmies or something? There's nothing wrong with that, is it? But what if they're marching the parades, a whole bunch of pygmies? I mean, a bunch of pygmies demonstrating. Governor Welk said, "What the hell is this? A bunch of pygmies with arrows and..." darts and everything. My mother and my aunt always would tell me stories. They never gave me instruction like how to act with ladies, but from listening to them and their reaction to guys, that was my instruction. So they would always come home telling about stories about guys always behind bushes exposing themselves. And there was like a band of perverts that traveled. Okay, we had 717, we'll meet Miss Cecil, and we'll meet her. Okay, you'll get behind the bush. Okay, you'll get the newspaper, the hat in your lap. And there were all these stations, every day with trick disguises and masks. About 55 guys, a whole troop of them. Okay, don't forget. Okay, yoo-hoo, hello, lady. You know your number, and you know your number. Okay, that's where you do your bit. Okay, the newspaper flash, subway doors, yoo-hoo, all those kind of bits, And it's every day they came home, And a guy in a taxi cab and there were the buses, they were all waiting for them. They was just follow them, boy, and they had the whole market cornered with those perverts always behind the bushes. It's those kind of dopey puzzles. Find the schmuck in the bush. You find the face in the bush, which guy is the bush. It's See, and I don't know anything about anybody. See, I'm 40 years old now, and I don't know anything about any young people. I always wonder, because, that's the greatest line in the meaning of, what's obscene is applying contemporary community standards. There's a judge called Learned Hand, and he allowed for the shift in the feeling. In other words, why that law can never be constant is that what we consider moral keeps shifting. And like in my generation, not that I consider it immoral, but I consider it embarrassing. Like a Planned Parenthood clock would just take it all away from me. Those Planned Parenthood clocks, it's like, just ding dong, ding dong. I can never do it. I can never do it on time. I would really feel it was contrived and prepared and like red lights and music. It just would be bullshit, Because my generation was somehow conditioned not to do that ever. Oh, you're trying to screw me. That's what you're planning. So anything that's a plan is kind of... I was going to write a book, the book on its face would be a book how to make out with chicks, but it really would be just the most vicious book that the guy followed the instructions would never make out. You'd get all the wrong things to say, in the instruction manual, like you go to the girl's house for dinner, and don't forget, always compliment the girl, like in things to say, like in front of the father, boy, your daughter's got a terrific body on her. What a shape. And your missus, God bless, has got a terrific body. I'm telling you, you got ruined. And there's certain kind of areas of humor that I know that chicks are just, there's certain kind of delicate areas, but see, again, the shift in the chain. In my generation, there's certain kinds of things we just never talk about. It just would be embarrassing. We just get, tell her these little jokes. Keep saying, what do you got the rag on? What do you got the rag on? And that's complete out of the question, Or say little things like, oh yeah, girls like to, be straightforward with it, don't be sneaky, just verbalize it. Say, oh boy, I wish I had a nookie. Well, I really would like that if I had some of that, boy. I'd always appreciate it. Just that's what they'll do it, if you just say you appreciate it. Oh boy, but I appreciate that. And then I tell everybody else what a nice person you are, because you did it. That's the end of the guy. That's the end of the... I think that, well, a lot of marriages, this is subjective, I'm divorced, and I think that a lot of people got divorced, my generation, because, well, ladies didn't know that guys were different. I mean, different in the sense that a lot of marriages went bye-bye because ladies were jealous of their husbands and they thought that they cheated, And guys of my generation never cheated on their wives, ever. Never one time. I tell you why, because what cheating means to a lady, I'm sure, is kissing and hugging and liking somebody. That liking I talked about before. That you really like somebody. And with guys, that doesn't have to happen with them. Not that they consciously think about it. That's what it is. Ladies think about it. It's a thought process. With guys, it's not. They detach. In other words, if a lady don't feel good, if a lady can't go through a plate glass window and go to bed with you 10 seconds later, when they don't feel good, they don't feel good. I know that. But guys can have head-on collisions with Greyhound buses. Ladies don't know that. They can go through plate glass windows, 50 people laying dead on the highway. And on the way to the hospital, in the ambulance, the guy makes play for the nurse. The lady would never know how that's possible. How could he do a thing at a time like that? People were dying. How could you think of something like that? I got hot. I don't know. How could you get hot, you moron? How can you get hot when people are dying? I don't know. I'm a moron, I guess. It's an animal. It's just an animal. It's just terrible. It's just... Yeah, it's just... what's that? They're animals. It's just they detach. They don't consciously, well, I'm going to detach now, but... In other words, if a guy cheats on you, you'd never see him again. That means they really met someone they really like, and they don't like you anymore. But if it's what you call cheating, and you might say, well, you come from a carnal culture, you can best report your culture. But the fact that it's against the law to do it to animals, and there are very few Jewish farmers. And there's a whole other culture that, because, only out of the fact arises the law. There was a problem, I'm sure. There wasn't any, newspaper pressure, the LA Times, the sheep aren't safe, what are they doing in Sacramento, There's a people, that was mail on some, congressman's desk, assemblyman's desk. What are we going to do? We got this law here. Look at the mail on my desk here. I don't know, what kind of law are we going to write? Throw it in health and welfare for a while, that's all. Keep the language substantially the same. Sexual psychopathy, 53, you see. Don't do it to the Baba and others. Now, if you really know that about guys, that they don't cheat. In other words, you put guys in desert islands, they'll do it to mud. So if you really would cry, oh, you did it to mud, you don't love me, it's just weird. It don't matter, can't explain it, it's weird. They don't take mud to dinner, it's just they're dopey that way. And, it's a different emotion, different thing with guys. And if you came home and you found your husband really sitting on the bed with a chick or a chicken, you really shouldn't feel that you were betrayed. Really, or want to leave him, or be that hurt and cry. It's a chicken. Don't talk to me. In our bed, a chicken. Not angry, but leave me alone, that's all. You want dinner, get your chicken to get it for you. How come you came home early tonight? Your chicken left town, eh? Go ahead with your chicken, have a good time. Don't need me. Go ahead with your fancy chicken. I don't know that chicken. I was drunk. I met her in the yard. What do you want from me? Just did it to make you angry, that's all. I don't care about chicken. Custody was really the get even. That was where it was at, That's the only way you can get even, That's the only get even device, is to grab the kid, Make sure they never see that kid again. You always hear the first week bullshit's beautiful. I had to get the kid. The kid was wet. All of a sudden, schmuck is worried about the kid's wet. Went over there. The kid was wet and everything. Had to take the kid. Are you kidding? The way this guy's running in and out. Kid was wet. And I really love the kid. Where's the kid? With my parents. Very good, schmucker. The first week, I spent the first week maligning the old lady's reputation after the breakup. Blah, 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 that piece of shit. I didn't tell you she was a lesbian. Yeah, I didn't tell you about her. But she did this and this and... calling up the mother, Mrs. Connors, you want to know what a piece of crap your daughter is? I'll tell you about her. And they really laid such a good foundation of such poison that when they go back together, the friends don't want to talk to her anymore. Yeah. Hey, listen, she's not coming over the house, that's all. And she does paper cups, what you told me about her, it's, yeah, so now the guy wants to see the chick, he misses her. Hello, Vera, listen, the only reason I called you, you left some of your crap over here. I don't know, a hanger or something. Just come over, shoot the shit a while, right? Go over. Maybe it can be reconciliation, kissing time, hugging time. Very critical time is in bedtime, after bedtime. Because that's the time where the religion creeps back into it, about the confession, which is really the terrible time, that time. Listen, Vera, when we broke up, did you make a lot of guys? Don't be silly, that's all you got in your mind. I don't give a shit, Listen, we were legally separated, you know what I mean? I made it with a lot of chicks. You're entitled to make it with a lot of guys. It's just like, no, for the hell of it. Did you make it with a lot of guys? I didn't make it with anybody. Come on, don't bullshit me. I'm not going to hit you now. I want to know. Tell me, who'd you make it with? I didn't make it with anybody. Come on, I'm not going to get mad now. I just want to know for the hell of it. Look, what's fair is fair. Just tell me. Don't cop out, never tell them, deny it. If they got pictures, deny it. Just flat out deny it. Tell them it's some faggot hairdresser, that's all. Yeah. Because if you do cop out, oh, forget it. Yeah. Who'd you make it? Now just tell me for the hell of it. Him? How could you? I'm not mad, but it's a shocker, Because you told me you didn't like him. You told me you didn't want him over the house, How could you make it with him, that fat, disgusting piece? You cunt! Ah! There's a peace bond, schlepping away, yelling, screaming. And that's because he told the truth, It's no truth. There is no truth. There's no lies. Boom, boom, boom. WOR, the Bamberger Broadcasting System, and it's time for Hi-Yo Silver Away. Hey, that guy didn't wait for thank you. He never does. That's the masked man, the Lone Ranger. He just likes people. You mean to tell me he wouldn't take a nickel? Not a quarter. You see what he did again this week? Took out the garbage, the ashes out, cleaned up the lawn. Wouldn't say nothing. Wouldn't take a nickel, loves people. Get out of here. I'm telling you. There he goes again. Hi-yo, Silver! Hey, wait a minute, masked man, we made a party for you. Got a present. Masked man, he's gone again. Has he got a broad around here? Did you give him any money? I didn't give him a quarter. You mean to tell me this guy every week cleans up the yard here, takes the ashes out, did the windows with vinegar and newspaper, and you don't want nothing? Nothing. Won't take a nickel. How does he live? I don't know. He's just selfless. He loves people. There he goes. Hey, Maskman! Hello, Silver Maskman! Wait a minute! We made a party for you and everything, you asshole! I'm fed up with him already. What does he think? What is he, kidding? He saw me with my hand out there. Look, I don't mind for myself, but he saw my mother make coffee and cake and everything. The old lady came out here, say thank you, that schmuck drives off in his Buick. Hi-yo, Silver. He's not a nice guy. I don't want to hear that anymore. He's a nice guy. He's snotty. He has no humility. He saw the kids with the crepe paper costumes. He knew we were making a big party for him, and he just goes off and... Look, with you, everybody's nice. I'm telling you, he's not a nice person. If he's a nice person, how come he leaves bullets here all the time? Silver bullets. You know what silver bullets means? Dr. Ehrlich, you ever hear that? 606, what he's saying, everybody got syphilis, that's right. That's why he don't want no part of nobody. That's why he rides off with his mouth goes. He's no good, I'm telling you. I'm going to kick his ass, I'm telling you. Al, bring him back here. I'm going to kick his ass all over the lot right now. I'm tired of his horse shit. He's going to get his ass kicked right now. Hold the gun on him, oh boy, my brother's hopping ass mad, buddy. Oh, Mama made all them hot Italian cakes. You runned off. You runned off and never did say thank you and nothing. You saw him out there. What the hell do you know he'd get crazy like that? She came out there with coffee and cake and you ride off. How come you're so good you can't accept nothing from nobody? Who the hell do you think you are?
I'll explain if you get your goddamn hands off me. Steady, big fella. The reason I never wait for thank you, supposing once I did wait for thank you, and I liked it, and I stuck around and I said, let's hear it once again. Hey, we're in trouble, get the Lone Ranger, get the masked man. Just a minute, I'm getting a few thank yous if you don't mind. I'm going to put my thank yous in a book. A thank you masked man book. When I'm old, people will say, what have you done? You haven't been in shingles all your life? No, siding business. Look at this. Thank you, masked man. Leo Carrillo, Freeport, Long Island. I've had a good life. And one day, someone will say,
there are no more thank you masked mans. The Messiah has returned. You see, men like yourself and Lenny Bruce, you thrive upon the continuance of segregation, violence, and disease. Now that all is pure, you're in the shithouse.
well, then I'll make trouble. Because I must have a thank you masked man. This way, what I don't have, I don't miss. That's why I always ride off.
Ah, damn, you sure can talk some shit, buddy. I got a headache. What the hell are you talking about? Thank you, masked man, Leo Korea, siding business. Look, my brother's mad, that's all I'm telling you. And all you got to do to settle the whole thing is just accept the present, that's all. I mean, what the hell are you making a big deal out of this for? Just take a present, I'll tell him you accepted the present, and you said, thanks, I'll write something on the paper, you know, thank you, Mr. D'Angelo, for the present. Anything you want, anything on the top shelf, a doll, a whip, a carton of Luckies, go ahead.
Anything I want?
Go ahead, buddy, it's yours.
No, no Luckies. All right, give me that Indian over there.
Who's that, Tonto?
Yes, I want Tonto the Indian.
Oh, Ed, you can't have Tonto.
Bullshit, you made the deal. That's what I want Tonto the Indian.
You gonna get you Tonto. His name ain't Tonto, it's Tonto. Now, you can't have Tonto.
I want Tonto. You made the deal. I want Tonto the Indian.
What the hell do you want Tonto for?
To perform an unnatural act.
To what?
You heard me, to perform an unnatural act.
The masked man's a fag. Ah. He's a fag man. A dang queer. That's why you got that mask on. You got mascara under there. The fag man.
The fag man.
Mandrake, Lothar, all those couples. Lothar killed a Shriner in 1936 and kept the hat. That was his sickness. I'd like to bring him up before the House Un-American Activities Committee. I really would, because if you just get Daddy Warbucks up here. Now, Daddy, you've this little girl, this Annie. This is she calls you Daddy. Is that what is that? Is that vernacular? Are you her daddy? I understand you've had a lot of parties at your place, and your servants are a little bizarre. With Punjab and the asp and actually, what do you do for a living? What is your story? I mean, you don't have visible means of support. You walk around, your head shined all the time, and the kids running around with that weird dog goes arf. It's an arf. Okay. What, you're having sex parties? Is that what it is? That's what it actually is. We know that you're having these sex parties and ecstasy. She has no eyes. Her eyes are rolled up back. Oh, daddy, daddy. Never mind, daddy. The dog keeps going. Arf means next. Yeah. Later, Phil Specter. Good night.